been eating my hair. Stop it. Stop eating my hair. Stop it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So what I thought that we would do today is do a really kind of clean, very in-depth glowy skin routine. This is kind of the minimal amount of product that I wear, and it's the kind of base makeup that I like to do for my castings. It's just another way of getting a nice, natural, perfected base, concentrating really though on looking good in person. I'm not naked. I have a top on. It is very humid here. I have my window open, I've got some lights on, I've got a fan. I'm very, very, very warm. If you're wondering where I got this from, Amazon. This one was £13. I realised that it didn't move, like this bit didn't move. I've since gone and bought myself one that did move, and I'm going to give this to my mum. They're rechargeable, it comes with a little stand. This is going to change my life. I would love to have it on while I'm filming, but I feel like it might irritate you. So I'm not going to do that. Just know that it might have to come out at some stage. So something that you would probably never have caught me doing before, and I will give you a cheap alternative to this foundation. I've actually been really enjoying using the MAC Face and Body. I have a bunch of these because they're really good for kit makeup. However, I'm trying to move into just purely cruelty-free things, and they are not. So if you have anything that you think works very similarly, then let me know, because I won't want to be repurchasing those because they aren't cruelty-free. If you want to use something cheaper that I feel like is probably a similar vibe but does give you a little bit more coverage, then the Revolution foundation drops are a really good option. I have a video coming up where I use them, hence I'm not going to use them today. I'm taking a mixture of the colour C3 and C4, and I've got a Villians stippling brush. As you can see, I'm just showing you my skin now. I do have, even under here, who does that right under the chin? I have some redness. I've got some hormonal breakouts happening because I'm due on, and that is what happens. So I'm just going to take this all over the skin. I feel like I needed something really dewy today because I'm like really sweaty anyway, so trying to put a like matte foundation on is just not gonna do it. I feel like if it's glowy and you're gonna be shining anyway, trying to fight that is probably just not gonna happen for me. So I am going to take a teeny bit more. I'm just gonna put, I'll show you how much. This is a very liquidy kind of foundation. I'm gonna take a little bit down my neck as well. So I've just popped a teeny bit of both on the back of my hand. I'm going to take this over the areas where I need more coverage, which is the cheek area and the chin area. I'm not aiming to cover up my actual spots with this because that's not going to happen. I'm just popping a little bit more coverage in those areas because it will help. Now I always like to go over this with a damp sponge afterwards. If you've been using any kind of, this is a Real Techniques one by the way, so if you are not a fan of the Beauty Blender ones because they're ridiculously expensive, then highly recommend. It's just going to help kind of press the product into the skin and also take out any kind of brush lines if you have those. I wouldn't recommend necessarily, unless you have the disposable ones, to be using these kinds of sponges on clients. I personally just feel like you can't ever get them clean enough, and therefore I would not recommend to use on other humans. The next thing that I feel like really makes a difference, and I am going to zoom you in for this, is colour correcting. My eyebrows are really annoying me, excuse me, I have to brush them up. They look really like nakey. Got a little bit of foundation on the eyebrows. Okay, that's better. You can see my eyebrows are a freaking mess, man. Right, so we're going to go in with the Peach Revolution Conceal and Correct Concealer. Again, if you're using on other people, then use a palette. Don't go straight onto the skin from something that goes back into your product, because then it's not sanitary anymore. I like to take a small blending brush. These come in handy for all sorts, like small powder, like precision powdering as I like to call it, blending concealer, spot concealing. So not only do I have these in my arsenal for blending eyeshadow, but they come in handy for skin work as well. Your fingers are always a really good tool as well. I kind of just like to spread the product with something that's kind of small and fluffy, and then I go with my finger and press it into the skin. I always kind of add a little bit extra onto the sides. My mum even said to me yesterday, "Oh, you've got a little bruise there." And I was like, "No, just not wearing any concealer. Thanks, mum." She didn't mean it in a bad way, but you know when you're like, yeah, I know that I have darkness right there and it looks like a black eye. Thanks. I like to take a little bit of this over the lid as well, because that kind of peachy colour will help counteract any kind of blue veins and things you have. If you're going to go in with an eye base like Painterly from MAC or Soft Ochre, something like that, where you have like the P. Louise or something like that, if you're going a bit heavier on the eye, then that kind of stuff will get covered up anyway, but I do like to try and cancel out a little bit of that before I go in with anything else. I have a serious addiction to Colourpop at the moment, so I'm going to go in under the eyes with a little bit of the No Filter Concealer. This is in the shade Medium 26. And again, this is my personal, so I just pop a little bit under the eye. That's probably actually enough for both eyes. This is really about kind of minimal product. So I'm going to take some on the other eye, so I might just add a teeny bit more. I would rather kind of blend it in and have to add product than think I've applied too much, because this is quite potent stuff. It's really good as an eye base as well. And again, I've kind of spread that around with my finger, with the brush, sorry, and then I'm going in with a finger to just kind of spread the product. I'm not going for a super flawless finish today. This is going to be quite a natural makeup still. The aim of my kind of style of makeup is to like look really good in person. In fact, I really want to do like a full in-depth face with all of the tips, all of the things that I like to do. I'm applying some here, and I'm going to go around my nose as well, because I do get some redness. I'm going to try and get this spot as well. So I've gone over that area, and then I'm just tapping that concealer in. I'm not super worried if I have some redness showing through from where I've got blemishes and things, because I don't sort of need a huge kind of flawless look today. So I'm going to zoom you in actually. I've just zoomed you in a little bit more. I'm just going to bounce my beauty blender around where I've already kind of placed product and things. Just kind of really push it into the skin. Excuse me if you can hear Gary. Now here you can see that my foundation hasn't covered. I'm going to take a little bit of the concealer. I find that if you've got like, this is not super awful and this is quite potent stuff. I find that cream concealers probably do last a little bit better but I'm not so fussed about that today. I'm going to set it with a little bit of powder as well. So cream concealers tend to be more potent. Something like the Camouflage Concealer from Revolution, or the matte, is it the Pro Fix concealers, the ones in the little pots, would be something like that. Is probably a really good bet. If not, take the concealer that you normally use. You can use a tiny little brush, a fluffy brush, or your finger. What I like to do is apply with a brush. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap around the edges. Obviously you need to make sure this concealer is a really good match for your foundation, etc. Otherwise you will see it on the skin. And then what I like to do is tap around the edge with my finger. Ta-da! You can then go back in with a little bit of concealer if you feel like you need to. I'm just applying really, really, really light pressure. Just so you can see my skin really up close. This is before I've powdered. This is the side with the blemishes. You can see a couple still kind of peeking through. I feel like it's less to do with redness and colour and more to do with texture. Obviously when you're applying makeup you can't take away texture. That is just something that if you've got bump, uneven skin, all of that kind of stuff, you know, scabs from where you've had a little like pick, then that's just stuff that you are going to see. But what you can do is take a lot of the colour out of it, like I've done. But obviously the less product you use, the more natural that's going to look. If you are putting layers and layers and layers of product on, you're actually going to increase the visibility of the texture on your skin. So I always try and say use kind of thin layers of product, as we always talk about on this channel. But hopefully you can see my skin still looks like skin. I've used a really light coverage foundation and then I've just gone in and spot concealed. It's not perfect, but it does look like skin. It looks natural and it looks like healthy, not super blemishy skin. Look, he is so grouchy. I literally have the most high maintenance baby on the planet. He is in shed. He had a little bit stuck around his face today. He is very cross. If you don't know anything about bearded dragons, when they do this black bearding thing, it means they're grumpy or stressed or not very happy. He's doing that in his tank, so I'm going to let him have a little run around on the bed and see if that makes him any better. I have just checked, there's nothing in there that he hasn't managed to catch to eat. I don't know what's bothering him. He's very high maintenance. He's going to have a little play behind me. The next step that we're going to do is take a little bit of powder. I've been really loving the RCMA original, is it the No Colour powder? No Colour powder. This is available from Beauty Bay if you're in the UK. Loads of places stock it. This was a massive hit a few years ago and I don't see many people kind of talking about it anymore. So I'm taking my Vellius brush, I believe this is the highlighting one, and I have just popped a little bit in here. You can see I'm going to kind of tap it off first, and what I'm going to do is just press this into the skin where I need it. So mainly where I put the concealer really, because or kind of in the T-zone, because I know that's where I get a little bit of shine. And notice that I'm pressing, not swiping. The next place that I want to go is the chin area, where this little spot was, and of course where I placed that concealer for the ones on my cheeks. If you get smile lines and things as well, sorted. What I've done next is just put my eyebrows on. I am going to do a video where I show you how I do my eyebrows. These maybe went a little bit heavier than I was thinking. I've been trying some new products out lately. I feel like the colours are a little bit off. This is kind of how I would normally do them shape-wise, but I just feel like the colour maybe I'm using could use some work. I'm going to go in with my I think this is overtaken my Australis one. This is the Pure Cameo Contour Dual-Ended Contour Foundation. I have the colour Tan, and I also have the colour Medium. They are very similar. The Tan one is a little bit darker. I'm going to use that one today. I like to use this with my Real Techniques. This is the Expert Face Brush. I like to kind of press the product down before I blend it out. I don't use the other end. It's for like contouring. You can see it's still even got like the plastic cap on. I have used the other end before to kind of lighten things up, but I don't bother with that kind of contouring. I just love this as almost like a cream bronzer, because it's more of a warm toned something. This is not really what I would use to contour with. So I take some on my brush and I kind of go straight from the ear, and I like to press it into the skin. I'm going to do this all around the edge of my face. I do like to make sure I blend it into the hairline, otherwise it's going to look very strange. Again, I kind of follow the line from the top of my ear, which is generally where your kind of cheekbone will sit. Gary is wanting some mummy time, clearly. Can you see the colour change? He's getting a little bit more grey now because he's been out for a little while. These guys do need to kind of be under a heat lamp and stuff for a lot of the time, so I will pop him back in. He's just going to hang out there for a minute. I also take a teeny bit of this down each side of the nose, because this is kind of an area where you would catch some sun. I'm going to take a little bit across the jawline as well, and then I'm just going to kind of blend all of this in a little bit more. What you can do then is take a powder product, and this is just going to help things stay in place. I haven't been doing this lately, but I'm going to do it for the purpose of this video. I've really been enjoying the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I find the texture is just insane. I can also recommend you the contour kit in the light shade. Is the kind of colour that I would use. They've released a load of new ones from the Revolution Pro line that has a really similar feel, like it feels like butter. So I'm just taking this on a really big brush. This is one of my absolute favourites for doing this. This is actually the Nude by Nature brush. I don't think these guys get enough kind of credit. And I just go a little bit over the top. I don't know if you can see, this does have a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not got glitter in. So although it's helping to set that powder in place, especially if it's kind of hot and stuff outside, because it has a little bit of a sheen, it's not going to make your skin look totally flat again. And that's why I like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is a super easy kind of summer glow eye. I have been loving the Colourpop Super Shock shadows. I am actually going to do a full video of my whole collection and swatches. This is super stunning. They are like a cream shadow, but it doesn't feel like cream entirely. Like, it's really weird. It's kind of like a cream mixed with a powder, mixed with just gorgeousness. This is one of their Ultra Glitter Super Shock shadows. This is in the colour Sequin, and it's a kind of rusty, really shimmery, slightly goldiness, greatness. I think these are best used with fingers, so I'm going to go in with my ring finger. I don't bother using an eye base with these. I think they're fine without it. I normally would. And first I just press it onto the, oh my god, look at that. I can't actually cope with the amazingness. Look how pretty it is. And then what I like to do is just take a blending brush and give this a little blend out. If you want to blend out with a matte normal shadow, then you can do that. Might be a little bit easier for you, but I find that actually if you kind of use a slightly stiffer fluffy brush, you get an okay finish with these, just blending out by themselves. So really simple, easy look. I'm just going to pop some underneath the eye as well. I'm just going to show you what's happening right now. What I'm then going to do is just keep everything really clean. I'm going to go in with my Kevin Aucoin eyelash curlers, curl my lashes and apply the Wet n Wild Mega Slim Skinny Mascara. You could add a liner or something, but I think that this shadow is just so beautiful on its own. If you really wanted to kind of add some definition to the lash line, then you could use a really deep normal eyeshadow, a gel liner or a kohl pencil, and use one of these kind of really flat edged ones to really push it into the lash line. Don't eat my hair. Don't eat my hair. Stop it. Stop eating my hair. Stop it. We've discussed this. You've been fed. Your little noises are very cute, but like, please stop eating my hair. No. Can you, ow, stop putting your hands on my hair. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. The next thing I'm going to do is just take my favourite lipstick. This is a legitimate non-matte dupe because it is a cream finish for the Anastasia Beverly Hills, like, I think it's one of their best sellers. It's their matte lipstick. It's their matte lipstick in the colour Hollywood. This is the Colourpop version. I believe it came out with the Villians collection, and it is called Hades. And it is legitimately a dupe, and it's more comfortable to wear because it is a cream finish, not a super matte finish. I'm going to apply this all over the lips. It's a super pretty peachy colour. I'm actually going to apply a little bit of the Glossier lip gloss over the top. Just looks so wet, it's so pretty. For blush, I'm going to go in with the Clinique blush pop in the colour Ginger Pop. This is one of my all-time favourite blushes. And I go in with my Nancy contour brush. I just think this is like the perfect shape. And I just like to kind of stamp it. I'm not going like here because it kind of makes the face drop. I'm going a little bit higher than you think. If it helps, you can smile. But remember to go a little bit higher because obviously when you stop smiling, you're going to drop again. It's all about kind of lifting and elevating the face. You've got like foundation on your face now, Gary. You really shouldn't be up here. Look at his sleepy little face. He's so happy now. I don't want to get makeup on you. For the finishing touch, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Ofra mini highlighter in Rodeo Drive. On a big fluffy brush, shake it off. Ooh. Some on the nose, which I still don't understand. Look at that glossy, glowy, beautiful face. Oh yes. So this is your finished peachy bronzed goddess, simple perfected skin look, minimal makeup type thing. I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. Thank you so much from me and Gary for watching. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying these videos. I hope you're enjoying more kind of uploads and more tutorials. I'm really trying to kind of get into giving you guys much more kind of useful, helpful tips. As you can see, really simple eyeshadow look. We kind of focus more on the skin, but again, minimal layers of products, really kind of easy application, really working on those kind of buffing techniques into the skin. And hopefully you can see I have a few blemishes. You can kind of see them peeking through still, but it looks nice in person. It's not sort of cake face. You've still got that kind of glow, but we have got a full face on. Again, it's just kind of light layers and how you're using your products. Really simple eyeshadow look. I do highly recommend if you haven't tried them before. I mean, I discovered these in the last week. The Colourpop Super Shock shadows. I have probably bought about 20 of them, and I just put a new order in from Colourpop. I am looking to do a model tries Colourpop. Also, as my model tries series, my last one was the milk one. I'll link it up here for you if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, highly recommend these super shock shadows, especially if you like anything that's kind of super sparkly. I will leave everything down below that I used in this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, it's a big goodbye from me and Gaz. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're not part of our little family, and we will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!